Hello, everybody, and welcome to the MC Squared podcast. My name is Andrew McNeil, and I'm joined tonight by my co-host, Jimmy McKenna. This is episode 46.
World to see and all the time to learn.
Welcome back, everybody. That was quite an intro. Yeah. So, it's been a little while since we sat down, talked, Jimmy and I. In fact, I haven't seen Jimmy in a month, at least.
It's probably been that long,
Yeah, there's been Christmas, there's been presents, and snow, and ice, and...
That's right.
It's been crazy. But anyway, with the event of the past weekend, we thought maybe it was a good thing to get together and we could talk about some things, and not NFL football.
We really didn't have a podcast planned until they won. And then after they won, he's like, hey, you want to get together on Thursday? And so it absolutely loaded. A show up and the helmet is here.
I moved it to my side.
They played so well.
Yeah, but enough, barely. Yeah.
Bo Nix would have killed him. Sorry.
Maybe.
Yeah. Well, at least you admitted it.
Woulda, coulda, shoulda. But
yeah,
anyway.
I know. At least they'd have been up enough points before it snowed, right?
Anyway, the Patriots are going to their... I've lost track of how many Super Bowls we're going to, honestly. I think it's... Let's see, we've won 6. We've lost 3 or 4. Or 5. So I think it's 11 or so.
Okay.
That's insane.
Yeah,
Maybe 12.
I thought Brady's won 7.
He's won 6.
Okay.
And he's lost a couple. He's lost a few. We lost to the Eagles. We lost to the...
Nick Foles from the Eagles, too.
Yeah, everybody's like, that's the worst loss ever. We lost to them, and we lost... we lost to the Giants twice. I blocked those out of my memory. We lost to Eli Manning twice. He told somebody that he doesn't even... Eli told folks that Brady doesn't call him by his name. He says, you're Peyton's brother. Because he can't even bring himself to say his name.
Good, that's pretty good.
Oh, but anyway.
But playing the Seahawks, I don't know. It's really hard to root. I don't know. To root for the Seahawks, they're kind of. I don't know. It's just a different.
Those Seahawks are for real. Honestly,
yeah, they're good.
They should win, and I think they probably will win. But there's not really any pressure. This was a team that we've had back-to-back 4 win seasons, so we've been terrible, and we've way overachieved this year. So it's just kind of fun, honestly. I'm not. We get into the fourth quarter and it's close, then I'll be super nervous.
Yeah.
But prior to that, I'll probably just be enjoying it.
Yeah, and I hope it's close. I always like them when they're close.
Yeah,
especially down to the end.
Yeah. So anyway, but that's not why we're having a podcast. So
whatever.
In news this week, the Trump's made some big splashes in Indiana politics.
Oh yeah, what is that?
He's endorsed a couple of candidates. I think he's got at least 4 candidates
really?
He's endorsed in Indiana, running against Indiana Senate candidates. So.
Oh, okay. Locally?
Yeah, we got somebody locally.
Oh.
Yes. So, do we even want to talk about this? I just don't even know. I don't even know if people are interested. But I think the real question, Jimmy, is... Here's what's interesting to me. Do you think the Trump endorsement makes a huge deal in the end result?
I think for the primary it does.
For the primary,
obviously for the primary it will.
Well, obviously more than
more than the fall election. But I do think I think in the primary I do think it will. So
do you think a candidate? I don't think a candidate's going to win primarily on that. Do you? I don't think it's over for all these other folks just because Trump endorsed their opponent.
No, because in the general, you'll have to get you're going to have both sides. And so...
Well, no, I mean in the primary. We're just talking about the primary right
now. You're saying Trump endorsement only.
Against the other Republican. I think it's case by case.
It's going to be really tough. I think it's going to be tough in this area, probably more than others, because we do have, we're a bellwether county. I mean, so we're pretty split along many different lines, kind of like a lot of the country. And I just think that you're going to have some substance as well as that endorsement.
I think substance, and if we're going up against an incumbent, in most of the cases, it's very difficult to do that. So then I think there's got to be a pretty good grassroots anger, I think, against the incumbent, and I just don't know. I don't know that exists.
Yeah, it's really hard
for any.
It's hard to tell.
Yeah, it really is. So the current one, the Senate district we're in, Senator Greg Good, and Trump made a big deal about redistricting. If I was in the Indiana Senate, I would have voted for redistricting. I'm for redistricting because I'm for winning, and we've been getting killed nationally because the Democrats gerrymander everything, and they run these Republicans out of representation. We've got states where Republicans are at least 40% of the vote, and they don't have a single congressional district because of this kind of stuff. So there was a wave of Democrats doubling down on this and eliminating, in some of these states, eliminating the one Republican that they still had. And so Trump initiated a redistricting. Indiana was one where we had 2 seats where we could pick up. And so I was for it. And here's my thought about it. You have, number one, the President of the United States asking you to do something that is completely legal. Number 2, he's the head of your party that you are in, and he's asking you to do it. And it is, like I said, perfectly legal. So that for me, I mean, pee on me at the state Senate, the President of the United States, who's just completed, Jimmy, the greatest political comeback in the history of our politics.
Yeah.
I would probably defer to his judgment, even though I think I'm smarter than him. I'm probably going to go, you know what? How many things has Trump tried that has failed? Probably very few. So I would have defaulted to that. I also have an issue with the way Republicans did it 5 years ago, and I'm going to have a problem with the way the Republicans did it in 5 years. So the time frame didn't matter to me at all. The fact that it was in between the census years doesn't matter. So I would have supported it.
Yeah. So do you think that the Democrats could turn around and do it on their own also before the 10 years? Have they done it before? Because it's just politics. It's legal, but it's politics.
Well, so yes, and here's the thing that a lot of people missed, because Greg Good, senator here, he is a Republican. He has not faced the voters. Actually, he was appointed to fill out Senator John Ford's term. So he's filled out the last 2 years of Senator Ford's term. He's getting ready to run. Really for the first time in a primary for this seat, and face his first general election if he gets through the primary. So he made this big show of a public hearing, and all showed up were Democrats, which we could have told you that, because redistricting is a huge issue to Democrats because it's how they get their power, honestly. It's all about the votes. You talk about voter IDs and restricting mail-in ballots, and Democrats will show up every day of the week. Yeah. Because that is the most important thing. That's how they're able to manipulate things. So, redistricting meeting, not a single Republican shows up. It's packed out with Democrats, though. And they're all angry. So Greg says, I've heard the constituents, not a single person was for redistricting, so I'm listening to my constituents. Which is it's a show, Jimmy. Yeah. He knew at the time none of those folks will vote for him. Yeah. So regardless.
Well, why don't the Republican constituents show up?
Because in all fairness, it's not that big of a deal to the Republican voters. Yeah. It's a big deal to Trump. It's what the party wants. Mm-hmm. I would have supported it. But it's not an issue that grassroots-wise, you're going to see a backlash against Greg Good because he voted against redistricting. You're not. So he's taking a calculated risk at the time, saying, I'll risk angering Trump voters. They're going to forget about it by the time the primary shows up, and they're sure as heck going to forget about it in November. Mm-hmm. And he would be right, except that now Trump's made this a huge deal. They're pouring millions of dollars into Indiana Senate races. There is a lot of money backing the challengers, and they've all gotten a Trump endorsement. which means something. It does not mean nothing. It means something, and it will help them. It's just whether or not, at the end of the day, is it enough? I just don't know.
I don't know either, but the one thing that I have learned, and maybe you can attest to this, I would love to see some data on how much is spent and who wins. How often is it?
See it.
How often is it when somebody spends more, they win? And I know that people were probably going to think, well, gosh, that's not the you're not getting the best picture of what people are voting for, because whoever has more money in their account, in their election account, is going to be able to win. But sadly, that's really what happens most of the time, right? I don't know what the percentage is, but I mean, it is. That's why people pay so close attention to how much somebody has in their account and who's endorsing them, because money usually gets somebody in.
Yeah. Yep. Because you can reach voters basically with mailings, with radio, with TVs. People still use TV, but I mean, if you watch a YouTube channel and some local politician will come up as a commercial. That's happening.
No, I don't. Well, I don't get commercials on YouTube, so sorry.
You pay for premium?
Yes, I do. So I don't have to listen to commercials. I don't want to be listening to Bill Johnson, and halfway through he's in this really deep conversation about something. All of a sudden, I got to listen to a politician. It's not that expensive, Andrew.
Don't
it's
pay
not
YouTube anything.
Okay. They pay me, so.
They pay you?
Yes.
Because you're a
content creator.
He's a content creator. Well, what the heck have I been doing all these years?
You're creating content, but we haven't got to the number. We're going to get there. 1,000 subs. We're going to hit it big. And then Andrew, hey, subscribe so that Andrew can get rid of commercials on YouTube. I don't pay into much, but I do pay into YouTube. It's called YouTube Premium. It's not that expensive. But getting rid of commercials is really nice.
It must be. Jimmy's over here living the life.
Oh, boy. Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, so yes, I think money matters. So I have a little bit of history with this Senate race a little bit just recently. So around Christmas time, I got a phone call from someone who is in the Turning Point USA. And they were looking, which was not really a secret. We knew this was happening around, but they were looking for candidates to run against the incumbent senator. So they were looking for somebody to run against Senator Greg Good. And I was very flattered that they called me. Actually, I misunderstood because I thought they were asking if I knew of anyone. And I was like, I really don't. I don't have any. And they're like, no. Would you be interested in running? And I was like, me? They go, well, yeah, somebody in the governor's office was, pointed you out, and you're the first phone call we've made. So I'm like, well, and then they mentioned another name of somebody that was second on their list. And I said, go ahead and call them. If they're interested, go right ahead. And and I was pretty much a no, Jimmy, right away.
Yeah.
And then my wife was like, Andrew, you've got to at least pray about it. And as a Christian, that is true. You don't make these decisions, yes or no, without at least, asking God what He wants. So my wife, with all the wisdom, I texted him back and I said, hey, if so and so said yes, great, and if not, can I take a couple of days to pray about it and think about it? And they were like, yeah, absolutely. So we did. I will be. I texted you. Yeah. I texted another friend of mine, and then I didn't even tell my kids for at least a day, and then I'm like, I think I should tell them too. So I told them to be praying, and basically just I wanted prayer. So praying through it and really seeking the Lord. I initially didn't want to do it, and during the entire 3 days I didn't want to do it. There was never a point where I wanted to do it, but I was willing to do whatever God wanted me to do. Yeah. And it felt like this very heavy cross to bear, because I do think, Jimmy, there's going to be, especially in this race, a lot of controversy and turmoil and disruption among the Republican Party challenging the current senator. I do think
Yeah.
that's because I do think he is in certain circles, and there are people that I greatly admire and respect that absolutely love him, and that's great. That's fine, and I'm sure he's a great guy. I've met him many times. I don't like his politics. I've got a problem with his politics for other reasons. I'm not campaigning, so I'm not going to go into that. It doesn't even matter. But at the end of the 3 days, I mean, it was clear from the Lord that it was a no, and I was so relieved. So I told him, I said, listen, thank you so much. I'm absolutely flattered you guys would think of me. But I want to say this. So they were like, yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
But I want to say this. This is what they told me at the time, and this is what's
supposed
going
to say
on.
this?
Yes, because and this is public. So
Okay.
I mean,
All right.
just so you know, what is coming for the candidate that is challenging these different senators is a lot of money. And they're paying for 75 door knockers full time to walk. Just awesome. They're putting an army.
That's ridiculous if you're running. That's so much.
Oh my gosh. For these, and they're really, even though it's state senate, it's still a small race. I mean, you got just a couple counties, Clay and Vigo and a little bit of Sullivan. And so they're going to do the work. They're going to put the effort in, and of course Trump was behind this as well. So his Trump PAC was going to get involved with a lot of money, and then the Trump endorsement. So, and I knew all this going into praying. So I knew there was a chance if I ran hard and we had all this that I would win. I thought there was a chance that would happen.
Yeah.
But is that what the Lord wanted? And I just, in the end, I came to that conclusion. It wasn't. So I do think it's tempting for someone who's interested in politics or maybe in politics, and you have that carrot dangling there.
Yeah.
Of, hey, we're going to pour the money in.
75 door knockers is ridiculous.
Yeah, that's.
What did we like door knocked for each other? Like,
oh yeah, I know. I brought my kids,
Like
and we
6.
worked as hard as we could.
I know.
And there was no money. There was no money changing hands.
The usual campaigns. That's the way they go around here.
Yeah,
it's like you find all your friends that would help you move.
Yeah,
which is like all 3 of them.
So you're right. We're going to see. I mean, there's going to be a ton of money poured into it. I do think Bray, who I mean, again, I don't. I mean, I am totally for dealing with the Indiana Senate. The Indiana Senate, in my opinion, has been a mess for a long time. I have not been happy with the leadership up there. They have messed every single major issue. They find a way to make it palatable to the Chamber of Commerce and to the left wing of the Republican Party every single time. And I can't stand it. So Rod Bray, who's the head of the Senate, he's going to pour money into this race. There will be money poured on the Greg Good side. And Greg's very well liked among the education crowd. That's really his crowd. ISU, the school corporation, these folks really love him, and he works well with them and all of that. So I think it's going to be an uphill battle. But what's funny, you can look into it. We won't talk about, because I'm not endorsing anybody. I'm not pushing anybody one way or the other. And I'm not going to get into what's happened with the challenge. That's just so funny. But anyway, go look it up on Facebook. See what's going on in the social media world. And you'll notice it's getting nasty right away.
And we're voting in May, right? We have a long time.
Yes.
So
yes, we have a long
time. It's not even
time.
April. It's going to be in May. Forever. And so it'll be an interesting test of that. How much money can be poured in a campaign to see if it can win.
Now I've got another weird thing that's happened with the Trump endorsements. Okay, real quick. There's a woman running up against Deary, which is the Senate district north of us. He's a Mitch Daniels guy. He voted against redistricting. I don't like his politics either. And there's a Paula Copenhagen that's running against him. And she's been endorsed by Trump, and she works for Micah Beckwith. Okay. Christy Risk, who has run for Congress and really almost won when she ran, when it was an open seat back when Larry Bucshon first won. She almost beat him in the initial. Wow. He was well funded, and she almost beat him in the initial primary. Okay. And so she works for Micah Beckwith. She's the chair lady of the Owen County Republican Party. I've known Christy Risk for a long time. She's extremely conservative. She was doing something with Suzanne Crouch when she was running for governor. So she was down here.
Yeah, she was.
And she has been running for a Senate seat. Eric Bassler is probably not running, so that Senate seat to the east of us, down in Washington, Indiana, is vacant. So you have Jeff Ellington running, and you have Christy Risk running. And Trump endorsed Jeff Ellington. Now, Christy Risk is also working for Micah Beckwith. Mm-hmm. So I'm just curious, and that honestly, that endorsement seems a little weird to me. I don't understand that one. So I don't know what the backstory is. I think a lot of these folks are like vying for these endorsements, which makes sense because they're coming. They knew they were coming. I don't know. That one I'm scratching my head on. I don't understand that one. I feel like in an open seat, Trump would have been better off not endorsing anyone. Honestly, I think that would have been the best move. I really do. Especially since he got the office wrong that the candidate here he endorsed. I mean, he got the office wrong that she was in. So it's clear he doesn't actually know these people.
He doesn't. Well, the problem is his connection that should have given him that correct information was wrong.
Right.
I mean, come on. If the president asks you, I want to know about this race, you shouldn't just take a wild guess and, it sounds county something. You know what I mean? I mean, understand
between
county and city politics.
Right,
I mean, it's different, So, shame on whoever gave him that information because he can't know everybody.
Right.
But
maybe he mistyped it. Maybe county council looked like county commissioner to him.
Well, commissioner honestly sounds bigger than a council, so maybe.
Well, I really hope they didn't do that. Like inflate it a little bit, but
that would be terrible. But I mean,
Yeah.
The whole such situation that we have with commissioners and the council and what the council does from the county side is understood by very few.
Right.
I mean, most people have no clue.
Right. I feel like some of the office holders don't understand either.
Well, I don't know about that. But I'm just saying that, like, the constituents of Vigo County have zero clue what any of that means.
Right.
And I feel like, and you probably do this too, people ask you questions about who's running for this, or I voted for this person, and you're like, well, no, you didn't, because I know where you live.
Right, exactly.
I mean, and I had people, when I ran back at 18, and say, I voted for you, and I'm thinking, I know you didn't. I appreciate you saying it. It's very nice that you would have.
Right.
But there's no way, because I'm on your ballot, right? So I don't know. It's the whole county politics thing is very different. And they get county and city mixed up so much because of Terre Haute.
Right.
And then where's the
Terre
district?
Haute is so big
that
you think it takes up most of the county anyway.
You do. And you think city is the county, but it's not.
No. And the finances are separate.
And the county has more money.
Yeah. It's very interesting.
Yeah.
So it's kind of crazy. We got Trump involved in our local politics, which is pretty funny.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that plays out.
It'll be interesting. It's going to be if that much money's going to go into it. It's going to be probably a social media.
Oh, it won't be a small thing.
Yeah, it's going to be
races will be serious. And
there's going to be some.
Yeah,
there's going to be some people that can really run that social media well, and so that's the appealing part of it is because that like. If we're running this thing authentically, we're like
you keep referring back to our campaign.
I know I know, but you just think you're just like, should I post this thing or should I repost this thing or I don't have time to do this social media because I have a job,
right? Exactly.
And so, but when you have that kind of endorsement, you have people that are like good at it.
Oh yeah,
know exactly what to say. Have so many metrics involved in the county and where to hit and make sure the voters get out, where they come out, where they don't come out. So don't even put money there because they're not coming out or they're not even going to be voting for your side in the primary. So it's going to be an interesting run. The primary will be interesting.
Yeah. It's definitely not going to be boring. I think, though, with this being the off year, like this is not a presidential year, I do think that's going to affect, I think that will lessen the Trump endorsement. And again, don't get me wrong, I absolutely love Trump. And if I was running, man, I would be wanting that Trump endorsement. Absolutely. It wouldn't even matter if I won. I would have that thing printed out and framed to put on my wall. How cool would that be to have for the rest of your life?
Can you just send me a plaque?
Yeah, could you just endorse me? I'm not running for anything. Just endorse me.
Yeah, I don't care if I lose.
All the Trump haters listening to this are just like, oh, what an idiot.
I know.
But seriously, I do think, though, that Trump isn't on the ballot. He's not on the primary ballot. Yeah. I think it's going to greatly affect it for whatever reason, the Trump voters just don't seem to vote except at presidential
Just
time.
say it.
So,
The Republicans don't show up. For
yeah, they
midterm.
don't.
I mean, come on.
The participation
that's the whole
is
thing.
It is embarrassing.
It's blatantly obvious.
Yeah.
They just don't.
Yeah.
They're like, I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to vote for
We also have
whatever president.
open primaries. So Democrats can vote in Republican primaries and vice versa. So
you can poll.
And
you
in
can
Vigo
poll.
County, man, they do it like crazy.
Yeah.
They do it like crazy.
And people
So who knows?
they've justified it for a long time,
Yeah.
pulling the other ballot. If you do know, though, we've talked about this before, when you pull the other ballot, it's public record.
Yes, it is public record.
What ballot you pulled. There's no record of who you voted for.
No.
But it says next to your name on the voter registry what one you pulled.
That's right.
And so
So if you consistently vote Democrat in the primary, you pull a Democrat ballot.
You're considered.
You are considered a Democrat,
Yeah.
whether you think you are or not. And so then when you decide out of the blue you're going to run for office as a Republican, they're going to say no. And all your Republican friends are all going to get mad and they're going to get angry. And he's a great person. And I
He's
know
very
I
conservative.
know he's conservative, but the record shows you voted Democrat for the last 20 years.
there is a record.
Yeah,
And, just so people
you're
know that
not
there's a
going to
record.
be allowed to be on that
Yeah.
ballot. So anyway,
It's good to know that.
just to clear that up. Okay,
Yeah.
that's enough
In
politics.
case, so when your kids start voting, if they're going to run someday,
Yeah.
tell them they need to pick a party now.
Yeah, vote for the party that you want to run as a candidate for. I mean, what
Yeah.
makes no sense to be messing in the other party's
Or you
candidate
could, or although
selection.
you could you just not vote in the primary and then vote in the?
Yeah, and then we wouldn't know.
Then you wouldn't know.
It would show that you didn't vote.
Can I pull the independent ballot in the primary?
No, there is no independent ballot because there are no independent candidates.
There's
no independent party.
Okay, so very interesting
Okay,
story about
yes.
the independents because the Democrats and Republicans, they have a what's it when they come together and they have their
Convention?
Convention. The independents have this convention that's all kind of willy-nilly.
Is it libertarians or independents? Who are you talking
Maybe
about?
libertarians.
Yeah.
Okay,
Libertarians have a convention.
Yes, but it's very odd, and they don't even know about it at the state
Everything
level.
Libertarians do is
Well,
odd.
I'm just saying, they don't really know it about the state level.
Yeah.
And so I even noticed that when I was over there, that they just don't know much about, like, when they have their convention, and there's all these, different things in campaign finance that they don't really know about because
Right.
they're kind of willy-nilly with things. So there's no
primary.
There's
for
no
libertarians,
primary for them.
but they will be on the ballot because they get themselves on the ballot, but they don't go through a primary process
because they do it in the convention.
do they do a convention?
That they do a convention,
Yeah.
but they do a convention late, and that's how they pick their person they're going to put on the ballot.
See, I'm all for. So Republicans have a convention, but it's after the primary.
Because then they pick whoever was.
Yeah, but I
who won
kind
the
of
primary.
like convention for everything.
No primary?
Yeah, that's the way it used to be. So that would be kind of cool, and that's the way the party
Well,
gets
that would be
together and
kinda
the party picks their candidates, and that's who they put forward for the fall. That's what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
And then we move to this primary where taxpayers pay for everything. By the way, not the party. The party doesn't pay for it. Taxpayers pay for it, and all these folks show up to vote, and they're all angry because they can't vote for the other party,
Yes,
and
yes.
people don't have a clue.
They can only pull
that
one side.
You are picking the slate for the party. That's what you're
Yeah.
doing. You're not voting for so and so for mayor. You're voting for Democrat is going to run for mayor, or
Yeah.
vice versa, whatever. So there's a sea of confusion out there, Jimmy, for civic matters. It's almost like our public schools are doing a rotten job of teaching civics.
Do they teach that? I don't know.
I think they do. I think
Man,
they have a
it
civics
just
class
seems
somewhere.
like something that is. You should get as an American citizen. You should understand.
Well, since people
why
died for
you're
our freedom. Yeah.
Yes, you should. What you're going to be voting for, how you vote.
Yeah.
I mean, this has all been calculated over 250 years, right?
Yeah.
To do that, and we just still seemed to have mass confusion about it. I don't know. Anyway,
Yeah. But we do love to complain about the people that get in.
always.
Yeah. Even though we didn't vote for them or didn't vote or didn't participate.
Yeah, I know.
Anyway, so we digress. So,
And what you don't know, too, just to go on that, a lot of these positions that you're really upset about, sometimes they're appointees
Yeah.
of the people. So that's the people that were voted upon. So, you have to vote for the right person because it does affect a lot as far as it comes to appointees.
Absolutely.
Just to speak a little bit about it, it's very interesting of how a large hospital system like HCA could neglect a hospital and a set of employees for so long.
Wow.
And that's really what they've done.
Well, I don't think it was making them money, so I don't think they cared. To invest the time and effort.
It is being a for-profit hospital. I mean, you really, if you're publicly traded and you have shareholders,
wow,
they're going for money.
That.
And I think for a long time that hospital did really well. But as it started to dwindle and as recruitment of physicians goes down, it really is hard to justify having services there. And once services start to go, then it's hard to justify having people there. Yeah. And so it is the healthcare system is very highly dependent upon physicians.
So are they moving doctors over there, or are they going to close that building, or what are they
No. I mean, many of the doctors
are moving.
Almost all of them have come under the union health wing.
So are they moving any current union to the regional building? Just
there's not anything in the plans right now for that, but I think at some point we'll spread because we need to spread.
Yeah.
But it's really interesting though when healthcare systems, especially ones in smaller towns like ours, lose physicians, and to recruit physicians, you have to have an environment where a physician wants to live. Which is another thing. And I mean, to be real honest, you have to. The north side of Indy has no problem. And so, that's why there's so many of those large hospitals in Indianapolis, because they have physicians to run services, because almost everything that you do is built upon a physician running
the
service.
I didn't realize that.
And so
I should have, but I didn't realize that.
We get a lot of great people that are hometown people that want to stay here. We love that because they're great. They're great doctors. They're great providers. It is difficult to recruit into the community. Is that something that you could do by changing the way the community looks? Maybe. Is that something you could do by changing culture inside of a building? Let's say like the regional hospital building. Maybe if you build a culture that's a little different, and it could help. And so that actually is the goal of a lot of people that work there. They want it to get back to and we would love that as well. I mean, I would love that as well, to see it get back to the hospital it used to be.
Yeah, that'd be amazing. Because I really feel like Terre Haute actually needs it. Like there's a need there.
With the number of,
just location, and then having that option.
Yeah, one of the interesting things is that I've recently heard is that 50% of commercial payers leave the area. When it comes to commercial payers, we're talking about the non-Medicare and Medicaid, which we receive cents on the dollar of cost for. So if you're only getting 57 cents for every, and this is not what you bill, this is your cost.
Yeah.
You get 57 cents of that dollar back that you spent. It's really hard to maintain services in that case. Yeah. So you're really highly dependent upon commercial insurers.
Yeah.
And so if a lot of commercial insurers are leaving because they see the big red and black logo over in Indianapolis and they think that, they just run the national championship, so they're probably really good, that's where people will go. But you have to realize that every health system, there's not one of them that's perfect.
That's pretty funny. We should have talked about IU winning, actually.
That's kind of old news now, but yeah.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, anyway.
Little Barb at IU.
No, I don't mind IU at all. I was rooting for it.
Yeah, me too. That was awesome. That was an awesome game.
Anyway, I'm just talking about the large hospitals in Indy. They have a plethora of physicians to be able to run services, where that's one thing that we struggle with here. We have a lot of them that are tried and true and been here for a long time.
So where do they come from? Do you guys have to actually go out and recruit them?
We recruit, yes. Recruit. Sometimes in the beginning of medical school, we recruit.
Yeah.
And we have an IU medical school here to recruit that starts, so they start in their residency with the hospital.
There's an IU medical school?
IU medical school, yeah. We're partnered with them. Yeah, in Union Health, yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and so we partner with them. They get a residency program, and we keep a lot of them on, but it's still not enough to to offset the attrition
Yeah.
over time because a lot of
Yeah.
docs are old.
Yeah.
So
That's interesting. Fascinating. That's
and then
just your medical
specialists
moment.
specialists are hard to come by too, and which those are the big services that everybody wants. They want the specialist.
Yeah.
So
So, I was reading the Bible the other day.
that's good.
It is good. It's a good thing to do. And I was thinking about, do you ever have things that kind of hit you funny when you're reading the Bible? I mean, I've read the Bible, most of my life, and you read the same passage. You work your way through it. So I've read some of the same passages over and over and over again, but some of the times you'll read them again, and you'll see something totally different that you didn't see before, or a different perspective on something.
It's living, man.
Yeah.
That's the amazing thing about it. You can't. Every stage of life, every day, if you read it, it could be. It's a living document. It's not like nothing else.
That's what's really cool about reading the Bible.
Yeah,
because
I mean,
you're not just.
there's not other books that you can read that are that way.
Gosh, no.
You read them, you put them down.
Yeah.
You know.
So I what kind of hit me, kind of funny, was just I love studying leadership and seeing is how important is leadership, and when we look at not to really rub people wrong, but looking at football teams, that succeed, organizations that succeed versus ones that don't. And I'll not take the Patriots. I'll take the Chiefs, who've succeeded wildly in the last, 5 or 6 years. If you look at them as an organization, from the top, the owner to the coach to the leaders on the field, they all have quality leadership all the way from the top to the bottom, and it matters. And you look at some of these other teams that may have quality leadership even on the field, but either the coach is a poor leader, or even worse, the owners are poor, or they're not good leaders. It matters. It's wild that it matters, because the people on the field are playing a game that the owner's not there. He's not playing. He's not tackling anybody. He's not throwing a pass. The coach may be a great coach or a bad coach, but the coach isn't physically playing the game. It is and yet the leadership skills of the coach, the leadership skills of the owner and management, all matters to the product that shows up on the field. And if you look at successful Super Bowl champion teams, you don't find, I don't know if you ever find it, but it's very rare that you will find a team that wins, dominates, whatever, and they don't have good leadership from the owner, the coach, down to the players.
Yeah.
So I was thinking about leadership. I love this kind of concept, and I thought, well, Jesus is the greatest leader that ever was. We know this. Okay. But does Jesus endorse leadership? I mean, really, because you have this mentality, Jesus meek and mild, just a wallflower. I mean, kind of. I mean, you have that mentality that it could be just from a distance. If you're looking at Jesus, you wouldn't think of Jesus as this, and you don't. This egotistical leader that's got vision and drive and a 12-point thing with his disciples to sit down and we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. But the reality is, Jesus, the greatest leader that ever was and ever is, because he's still the greatest leader, and we're supposed to be like him. He emanates all of the greatest leadership traits. Mm-hmm. And what hit me was Jesus was getting ready to be crucified, and he was warning his disciples that they're going to all be scattered. Mm-hmm. And he quotes a scripture from the Old Testament that says, "Strike the shepherd, and the sheep will be scattered." And then it hit me. He's talking about himself, obviously, but he's demonstrating about leadership. It's a leadership principle. The leader gets taken out, and the sheep are leaderless, so they scatter. Mm-hmm. And it's just literally a picture of the importance of leadership. And then the best that we always laugh about, everybody talks about, is the disciples. We don't know who all they were, but definitely Peter, James, and John, and probably some of the other ones arguing about who's going to be the greatest.
Yeah.
And they're talking leadership here. Who's going to be the greatest in this kingdom to come that Jesus is coming with? And they're vying for the leadership roles. who's going to be the greatest? And Jesus says, it's in the kingdom. It's not like you think. It's not this way.
Yeah, that's true.
In the kingdom, if you want to be the greatest,
Yeah.
and Jesus is not demeaning that. If you want to be the greatest, you must be the servant of all.
That's right.
And Jesus is unlocking a leadership principle so this is crazy because I have these leadership books and I'd love to talk about them, but honestly, they're like kind of old and classic and #1 bestsellers, and so everybody's heard of them. A lot of people have heard about them, and so it's kind of, I don't think it's content that. Yeah. But Jim Collins is one of them, and he's written Good to Great, and I think it's like required reading in business school. So Good to Great, really good, and some of these other ones. And I was looking through it, and he's talking about what is it that takes a good company to a great company. And what I love about Jim Collins and the way he did it. Have you read any of those books?
Yeah.
So it is if you haven't read them, he gets a research team, and the research team breaks down data, and they just take these companies that do this or that, and they've got all this criteria. So they boil down the results of what is similar traits to these companies that went from good to great. What are the similar traits? Not something unique about one, but what is something in common that they all have?
Yeah.
And they all, without exception, have a level 5 leader at the top. And a level 5 leader is the highest leader that you can get. It's just the highest quality leader. And a level you will never get a level 5 leader without one trait, and that is humility. Mm-hmm. And that is incredible. There's a lot of factors that go into making a level 5 leader. There's a lot of other things. Super passionate about the business, that kind of thing. But the humility that they have is striking, he said, which is kind of right in with what Jesus is talking about. Yeah. Saying that if you want to be the greatest, you've got to be the least, you're the servant. He said these level 5 leaders, when things are going really well, they attribute the success of the company to everybody else. They attribute it to, I was lucky. They attribute it, I had a great team. They attribute it to everybody working along the line. When things go poorly or bad, they look right in the mirror and they take full responsibility for it. They don't put blame on, well, my team isn't very good or we had bad luck or whatever it is. They look in the mirror and they take full responsibility and they say, what have I done wrong? What can I change to make this thing turn around? And I just think, you look at Proverbs and all of these things in the Word of God, and you're looking at leadership books. I love it, but it's kind of in the Word. If you are eating the Word of God and you are actually letting it change you, you're going to naturally become a really good leader. Yeah. And then see things change around you. And I don't know. I thought it was pretty cool. And
I think it has a lot to do, and not got to this point at all, but starting to learn more about humility. It's not in our flesh to be.
Oh, it's not natural.
No, it's not natural. It is something that, just like a skill, you almost have to work on, and by studying the Bible, by studying the ways of Jesus, it helps you to work on that situation so that when that situation comes up and the heat is on, you're willing to be able to die.
Yeah.
And I think that's, honestly, our flesh does not want us to do that every day. And I think a part of this being like a servant leader is dying every day.
Yeah, that's
is
really
that
hard.
like you're like what happened yesterday was yesterday.
Yeah.
Today I'm gonna die today.
Yeah.
And then having that like beacon of light that you have by a connection with the Lord is so important, because what you can do in those cases is you say, I trust you.
Yeah.
I trust him.
Yeah.
And you let go. And it's really hard for anybody in leadership just to let it go and let God do his work. And it's just really it's hard to do, because you want to, especially when things start to get bad, you want to grab the wheel.
Yeah.
You want to grab the wheel, but you have to remember, and that's something that I try to remember, like all the times where I had no clue what was going on. and the Lord just worked it out.
Yeah.
And that's like testimony, right? And we share those testimonies of different times in our lives where that happened.
Don't you think that makes for a really good leader, though? Because say you're working under them, and that leader, things start to go haywire, go a little off, and they start getting controlling.
It's very common.
And you don't want to work for somebody like that.
Yeah.
I mean, you get it, casting the vision, you get it, understanding there's an issue, you get it, not putting their head in the sand and trying to deal with something. But when they turn to being controlling because they're fearful, basically,
that's fear.
Then that's a lower level leadership, and you're right. You're absolutely right. And for us to be able to lay back and not just trust in people, because that's important. As a leader, you should be able to trust your people.
Yeah.
But to trust God.
Yeah.
That He's going to take care of, and things are going to. You've prayed. You've done what you can do. I think it's a really important trait too. I really do.
Yeah.
Lack of control.
I had this thing, and I've talked to my wife about this, and the Lord's kind of downloaded this little acronym in my head, and it could be off, but just from all of my, learning about the Lord all throughout my life, I've come up with this acronym of BKT. BKTA. This is
be kind to all.
No. This is all about your relationship with the Lord.
Okay.
And it's believe.
Okay.
And know. Mm-hmm. Trust and abide.
Oh, that's good.
And I don't like to put like your Christian walk in this path of what you're doing, but it's for people to believe in Jesus Christ as the Son of God. That's step one, and you can stay right there. But by getting closer to Him, you'll come to know Him. That's the K. So that's learning more about Him. The next one is really hard to get to because that's where you can let go from the knowing Him, and then to know your knowledge, then moving into the trust.
Yeah, that's
so
hard.
This is where you're starting to let go a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of us that stay in this trust area. But the final one, and I feel like there's been a couple times in my life where I've been in this abide, being it's where you're so close, where you're so face to face that you can just totally let go. And you're abiding until something comes up, and if you stop abiding, you'll fall back down into then knowing. And I don't want to. You're not falling into different levels. I don't want anybody to think that. But it is about a relationship, and I kind of feel like that is like the perfect relationship, but it's also a relationship that we get with other people.
Yeah.
Because we come to believe you believe in them. Here they are. They're here. I'm working with them.
Yeah.
You come to know them.
Yeah.
And then you come to know them, and then through that you start to trust.
Yep.
But I don't think you ever can get to that from trust to abide.
Right.
And when you abide in the Lord, it's when your hands just kind of go off.
Yeah.
And you're just there, and you say, I trust you, and I'm just resting in you. Yeah. And so I feel like you almost, and I hate to say this is like working, but you work to a point, and then once you pass that trusting and you get into the abiding, it's when you rest. And man, how amazing is it? And I know you've been there, I've been there before too, is just to be in that total rest in Him knowing exactly what's next.
Yeah.
And having everything planned out for you. But then as a leader, that's where you want your leader in that space. You don't want them falling back down into like using my own intuition or my own knowledge or what I have learned from before. Right. Yeah, there's times to go back and rely on that, but you have to be in this, and I'm not saying like rest as in being lazy, because it's not. No. Because being restful and abiding is not. It's keeping that constant relationship that you have during that time. And so, I don't know. I think it kind of goes into. I feel like when I get into the trusting, and then to the abiding, I think the people around you, we're all built in the image of God.
Right.
100% of us. Yeah. I don't care where you come from. You're built in the image. So there is something that resonates inside of people.
Yeah.
And that's what his principles are.
Right.
Because that's why his principle of being a servant leader resonates with everyone.
That's right, and it works even if you're Christian or not. That's the thing.
Yes, it does.
So that's the thing.
Anybody can get behind it.
It's like Jesus was not like, but he is wisdom. Like in Proverbs, when it talks about I'm wisdom and I've done these things, that's Jesus. Like before, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When it uses the person of wisdom speaking in it. And the Bible says that the world was laid through wisdom and through faith. But I was there at the beginning. Wisdom says this. When he drops some of these things, like just the thing about leadership, just the part about humility, all these things, it's not just in the kingdom. That's how God put the world together.
It's the world, yeah.
That's literally just a principle of the world. And you'll see folks that are not Christians at all, but they will walk in a humility or a lack of control, and they'll see tremendous success. Mm-hmm. Now, that's not the only characteristic. I'm just saying that's what takes you from a 3 or a 4 level leader that's a great leader, but that will bring you to a place of great success if you can cap it with humility. Mm-hmm. If you can bring that humility into your life. And what was interesting is he said, these celebrity CEOs, these big entrepreneurs, these people that were famous, brought in millions of dollars, had big egos. He said not a single one of them was able to take their company from good to great. Not a single one of them. In fact, they would see decline because those big egos get in the way of doing, whatever it is. And again, this isn't the single attribute. It's just a attribute that only level 5 leaders had. And here's what he said was really interesting, Jimmy, that I thought was really cool. He said, where would you find level 5 leaders? And he said, they're everywhere. He said, they're not always at the top. He goes, I don't know why. They're very difficult to bring into that place because they're not egotistical and they're not flashy, but they are. He goes, they're everywhere. They're in organizations. And he said, and you'll notice because there's really good fruit in like a department or in an area. Those are level 5 leaders. They're people that they have, and there's other attributes that make sense. Like they're very focused on the vision of the company or where they're at. They're very focused on and passionate about it and will do self-sacrifice. Like you were talking about, whatever it takes for that to succeed. At the same time, they've got humility. At the same time, they've got, whatever these other characteristics they're really important if you're looking into leadership. But I just thought that was very, very interesting.
I think it's amazing how it resonates across the entire cosmos, right?
And he's not
no matter who it is.
Yeah. This writer's not a Christian. And he said there were a huge majority of these leaders that were Christian, like had Christian experiences, not just Christian. One of them was, I think he didn't name the name, but one of them was, well, he did later on in the book, but not in the summary. One of them was the guy that started, what is it, the gospel, what is it? The businessmen, the gospel fellowship of businessmen. What is that?
I don't know what that is.
Oh, it's a big deal. It was a big deal in the 70s and 80s. Not big enough for me to know about it. Fellowship of Christian Athletes. No, that's something else. Anyway, it's a businessmen like Christian organization. They got together as businessmen, and what they did was, and this was the CEO of this place, what they did was they got together and they took business principles and they started looking in the Bible and they started bringing the two together, and basically saying kingdom principles also work as business principles. And so if that's true, and this is a radical idea that started kind of in the 70s that was important, then that means, Jimmy, honesty, integrity, being true. All these things that don't bring a profit or don't, they need to be brought into the business world too. Mm-hmm. It's important that your leaders, your employees or whatever are not immoral, just not, not trying, you know what I'm trying to say? Yeah. You're bringing, the golden rule, and you do unto others as you would have them do. Bring that into the business community, bring that into and we see that a lot of the fruit in American businesses that are successful has come from those kind of, it's the gospel. It's kind of discipling the business community. It's really interesting.
It is. And I think that this one area that we've witnessed and we currently are witnessing in in leadership are when those people get to those levels, even as Christians, and they stop dying each day.
Right.
Because what happens is when you stop that, the accolades of the previous day build you as your flesh. They build your flesh, and you become more
Complacent.
reliant on that.
Yep.
And then that's when you see.
Yep.
That's when you see big leaders fall.
Yep.
Because they're trying to work. They've got to this place through the grace of God, but then they turned it over and said, I kind of forget about what was done back there. I think this is me because this person over here says I'm good.
Yeah.
This person over here says I'm good. What you have to do is you have to do a reset every day.
Yeah, that's really important. I think that's because humility comes from the Lord. True humility comes from the Lord. I mean, it is not natural for me.
Yeah.
And it's something that...
Not for me either. I have to really work. I have to
grace.
really work on it.
Yeah. So then there's another book you wrote was Why the Mighty Fall, and the number one reason is pride.
Yeah.
So it's the exact it's the flip. So if you want to be the top, Jesus says be the lowest. And honestly, the ones that it's kind of Jesus's parable when he says, when you go to a feast, when you go to a wedding feast, don't sit at the very top. Don't go sit by. Take the lowest place, because then, if you're not supposed to be in the lowest place, they're going to go in the presence of everybody. Friend, come on up higher, come up closer, and that's humbling yourself. Mm-hmm. And Jesus said, everybody that humbles themselves will be exalted, and everyone who exalts themselves will be humbled. Mm-hmm. That's very interesting. But that's a principle that works in the business community as well.
Yeah.
So it's really cool. Well, I think we've hit on a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
here.
we did. We went the full spectrum today.
This is like a a full meal for folks, maybe.
If they're still with us.
If they're still with us. Yeah, they're probably not. But we do need to talk to them about subscribing, which we already did, but we need to do it again. And hopefully we'll put something in there. And then if you guys want to reach out to us, you obviously can make comments on YouTube. If you're listening online or you're listening via the podcast app that you like, whether it is Amazon or Apple or Spotify, and we're on Buzzsprout, but I don't think anybody's actually on Buzzsprout. I think it's mostly for us. But if you're on Buzzsprout and you want to reach out to us, the best way is probably email, right, Jimmy?
Yeah, the mcsquaredpodcast@gmail.com. The mcsquaredpodcast@gmail.com.
We've had a couple people email us, mostly Jimmy's dad.
Yeah,
but we really appreciate that.
Yes, we do.
really do, because it's pretty fun, and he's always insightful, and he says nice things. So that's really good. He's not throwing tomato at us through the email. So
and he watches the whole thing.
Does he really?
Yeah.
Oh, God bless him. Wow.
Yes.
There's got to be a reward in heaven for that. There really does. I don't watch it all the way, and I'm on it. No, but that's we really appreciate all of our viewers and listeners, and we actually have had pretty consistent folks downloading the podcast and listening. I mean, it's a trickle, but it's all the time when we're not even putting content out. So
that's good stuff.
Really appreciate that, and hope everybody we get thawed out from this deep freeze.
Yep.
And we will see you guys back here next time.
See ya.